Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. This is going to be something different. I'm going to put out a challenge for myself, but for you as well. So, what is that challenge? Other channels have done similar things of this ilk. Other channels have done slight variations of this. Board Game Ramblings did their whole keep or cull thing, which was really popular. And they played through their whole collection. The brothers Murphy did their, play our whole collection in a week or something like that. Or Gloomhaven in a week, whatever it was, speed run, essentially. I can't do that. Full-time job. Wife doesn't fully play games with me a ton. She's not, in the hobby very much. She'll play with me, but she's not, super into it. So there's a challenge that is inherently there. And again, because I don't do this full time like some of the other big channels, but I just don't have the ability to do some of those things. However, I am going to do this. And this is where it's for me and for you. So my challenge, I was originally thinking I was going to try and play through my whole collection. I'm looking at this behind me, in front of me, behind you guys, and for the camera of everything. And I said, you know what? Because January started off hot, no lie. In the first 17 days of January, I played 17 new games to me. 17 new games in 17 days. It's really impressive. And then work hit full stride, and no way can I keep that pace up anywhere near that. So I got thinking creatively. And so I'm going to do two things here, and this is where it comes in. First, I am going to make a goal of getting rid of my shelf of shopportunity, if you will. Shopportunity? I like that. Shelf of shopportunity. I just came up with that literally while I'm filming this. It's not a shelf of shame. It is a shelf of opportunity, but it also is a shop, because if I don't like the games, I'm going to try and sell them. Hence, shop. I'm getting real dad on you in this video. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to set some parameters on this, and I am going to play every game that I have not played in my collection. I am going to bear the cupboard, or try to bear the cupboard, of things in shrink behind me, things that are not in shrink that just haven't gotten played, and I'm going to try and keep that up. Now, we're going to have to set, like I said, some parameters on it, because there are going to be games arriving throughout the year from publishers, but also from previously backed and funded crowdfunding games. And at some point, it's going to be unsustainable or unfeasible to get them all played. The one that's arriving on January 28th with the 24-page rule book, maybe, got to put a deadline on it. You don't start new projects at work after a certain time of the day, if you know what I mean. So there will be some deadline of that. I don't know, maybe like September or November or something. I don't know, something along those lines. But that's not the very interesting part, because that's sort of ho-hum, right? Everybody says it, and everybody, I'm going to get this off my shelf of opportunity. But it's harder to do than meets the eye. The other side of things is I'm not going to make it all expansions. Because, for like the others back here, or for Bloodborne, there's no way I'm going to play every single expansion. So expansions, for the most part, are going to be excluded. Don't fear. We're still talking probably something like 60 games in my collection. And that's barring new stuff, barring review stuff, barring doing all the other videos that I put out. So that's something. Now, this, part 2, is where you guys come in. And this is twofold. One, I'm also on top of that going to do a 10 by 10 challenge. However, there's going to be a couple variables in that 10 by 10 challenge. The first variable is I am going to let my Patreon folks pick some of the games. So it's not necessarily going to be, I'm not going to, he's going to choose all roll and rights and, dexterity games, and he's going to make it super easy. No, I want this to be games that I want to get enjoyment out of from that. Not just games that are like really easy to hit the table and I can get 5 plays in a night, I see some of those 10 by 10s on Board Game Geek that are listed, and they're like, well, we put Crokinole on our list and we accomplished that this weekend. It's like, well, that's fine, man. Or Carcassonne, or something generic like that, and that's cool. But it's gotta have a little bit of tension to it. But I also have to want to play it at the same time. So what I'm going to do is on my Patreon, I'm going to put like, 15 or 20 games on there. And I'm going to say, you guys vote for like the top 5. And the top 5 are going to be on my list. And I'm going to put a wide variety on there. Miniature games, campaign games, dexterity games, complex games, simple games, but are harder to get to the table. So I'm looking at the wide variety there. Avenue number 2. If right now my Patreon is something like 40 or so people, it's about $89 or whatever it is a month total right now, I will set some incentivizers there, if you will. So if we reach, say, a certain level, I will start increasing my 10 by 10 to an 11 by 11, to a 12 by 12, to a 13 by 13, and so on and so forth. And I'll let you choose the game. Again, I will open it up and I will let you, as the people, choose what gets added. Incentivize you, and while incentivizing me to play games I love. And at the end of the year, apart from the, best of 2022, the best new to me, the best Kickstarters, the best whatever, we'll run down what I feel about those games, because invariably when you focus on those games, certain insights or tastes are going to reveal themselves. And sometimes those are very positive. Sometimes those are, I'm kind of sick of this game now, right? Or I could go without playing this game for a while. Now, there might be a few small caveats in there. I have both Pandemic Legacies sitting on my shelf behind the camera. So a game like that, obviously it'd be a little harder to do a 11 by 11 or a 13 by 13, but we would do it. I would play it as a legacy game, or you know what, I'd throw it in with Pandemic Iberia. I'd say 10 games of Pandemic Legacy plus 3 games of Pandemic Iberia if it was the 13 by 13 and we included it. Something like that. Because the other side of things, the other aspect of this, is I don't see a lot of people in my seat doing that. And that's why I want to do it. When was the last time you saw a major channel say, I'm going to play this game 10 times? Most games on my channel, I play easily on one hand. But that's because of the way my mind works and the way I view things. My mind clicks very quickly with some of this stuff. And others, that's why I stay away from other games, because my mind does not click with it. And those are the games that aren't for me. But the games that my mind clicks with, I'm very quick and very thorough and very analytical. In a weird way, as you know by now if you've made it this far in the video. But that's what I want to provide to you, to provide something different. Some deeper insights, not only for games that are more recent, but a little bit older too. Because I value the game, not necessarily always the hotness. So that is one thing I want to bring to you on my Patreon. As something different, something more introspective, instead of just constantly chasing the hotness and the hype. That's pretty easy to do at the same time. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start having, maybe a couple times a month, I'm going to give you some insight into what goes on up here, especially from the crowdfunding side of things. I treat crowdfunding pretty equally. I try to be as biased in my own way as I can, because I'm not unbiased, right? But I want to give you some of my personal thoughts on campaigns as I'm looking at them that I don't always include on my videos. So that is something I am going to give a personal touch to the Patreon side of things as well. So if any of this interests you, let me know. Or if you have other thoughts or other ideas or other things that would incentivize you to consider the Patreon in the first place, let me know. Because as of right now, I don't do paid previews. I've got a small sponsorship with GameFound. I get the YouTube, and I got a little bit of the Patreon. That's it. I've thought about doing the paid promotion. I just can't right now. But just to give you guys a little bit of insight into the background here and why this is more relevant and more interesting, but also more personally appealing, is because I get about 50,000 views on YouTube a month right now. And that makes me about or less than the same amount of money that some channels that are getting 50 to 100 views on paid previews are getting total when they do one video or two videos. Right? I'm not sure how many of you realize that or knew that, but that's the discrepancy between like the YouTube and these paid previews. And you can see why people skew towards the paid previews then sometimes. And so that's why I would rather do Patreon. So that I can continue just to do me. Because, well, I'm just going to do me anyway. But it'd be great if you could support me in that way. Can't really do the, Dice Tower thing where I'm going to put out this extra video if we hit this mark. Or extra video if we hit this mark. Because I'm putting out a ton of videos anyway. I put like 250 videos my first year on this channel. Again, not because I'm doing this as a business, but because I like doing this. So, you guys, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I don't do the Patreon where $1 per video, right? Then I'd really be, the dollars would be raining down on me that way. But no, that's ridiculous anyway. But those are my thoughts right now. And that's sort of what I want to do with my challenge. And you know what? Screw it. Even if you guys don't do anything differently with watching this or the Patreon or anything else, I'm still probably going to do I want to get everything that's unplayed on my shelf played. And then, maybe including in the monthly roundups in terms of what I backed, what I didn't back, and what I played. I'm also maybe going to do what I'm looking to sell this month that I have played through. Or what I'm going to keep because I played through it as well. So, there you go. Open rambling thoughts, a little bit of everything in this video. Wow. Rambled on longer than I thought that I was going to do, so must be getting pretty good at this. As if. That's all I got though. So, I'm staring at Marvel United. Oh, Marvel United. Marvel United. That is going to be on the 10 by 10 list. It is. And the game sitting on top of Marvel United right now, that's also going to be on the 10 by 10 list, I think, too, because I enjoyed it, even though it's outside my ilk, and it's been recently featured on the channel already, so spoilers there, too. Not too much, though. I can't do that. And then the one next to it sitting over there, probably, and then the other one on top of that, probably. Oh, geez, that's bad. Too many games, too many choices. But Patreon, I'll let you know what those thoughts are specifically. So if you're interested, check it out. I'm also, side tangent, very end here, I'm going to revamp the levels. I'm crappy at that stuff. I'm going to revamp them and make them better for you guys. That's all I got. I think, now, finally. Yeah, I think we're good. Thanks for watching. Stay classy. Let me know in the comments section. Have a good day. I'll see you around. Spoilers here at the end. I think I'm going to start to do a new series as well on the retail side of things. That is talking more about why you should not buy X game at retail. Or why you should buy it at retail. Maybe a little mix of the two. We'll see. I'm looking at you, big box of too many bones sitting next to me. Oh yeah, it's true. Then I'd be, raking in the